It is another beautiful Sunday evening, and you're most welcome to the Upside Down Show on City TV, proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana. The future indeed is exciting. My name is Farouk.
And mine is Nanatufor. Yes, indeed, this is your most entertaining, most exciting lifestyle TV show you can get on a Sunday. We're going to go into a very, very interesting conversation right after this break, but I need to admit it. You look fine, girl.
No, I mean, thank you, but you look dapper. You look suave.
You
look dapper.
I try.
Not so for boy.
You know, sometimes you make it difficult for me because I always have to go through my wardrobe and I'm like, what is she going to wear today? What's she going to wear? I need to match up. It's difficult for me, actually.
But you do it so beautifully. You do it so
well.
You, my dear. You do it so well. Look at your suits, man. Look at your shoes.
Well, let's just say I try.
We'll be right back and we have a conversation.
Coming up on the Upside Down Show, we have a conversation with lawmaker, Member of Parliament of Yendi constituency, Honorable Farouk Aliu Mahama, as he talks about growing up, politics, his vision of a new Yendi city, and being the son of a former vice president.
You're welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show on City TV, proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana. The future indeed is exciting. Now, today we are talking to someone quite interesting. Now, you know, we always say that people are born with silver or golden spoons in their mouth, but sometimes when you get very close, you realize that
the reality is not as we imagine.
But I mean, whatever it is, I mean, with a greatness of respect, you know, I would love to be in their shoes regardless.
Why not?
If money is smaller, in life you get to wherever you are going quite early, you know.
Our plans on is
All right, and so ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking to somebody that I believe that you really want to hear from, someone who is really making inroads, you know, in politics. Quite impressive one at that.
I like the fact that he's young, ambitious, and is looking to change the narrative, the political narrative.
But
I think it's beautiful.
Do you realize these days young people are really getting interested in politics?
I think it's about time.
No, we need to take our chances. We can't always depend on the old man, you know, to do stuff for us. And so we are taking our chances. Please help us welcome our guest for today, Alhaji. I was going to say Alhaji Aliu Mahama. Alhaji Farouk Aliu Mahama.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Hello. Why don't give Boza to women?
There you go.
All right. You're welcome, Alhaji.
Thank you very much.
So how are you?
I'm very fine by the grace of the Almighty Allah.
How was your Valentine?
Yeah. I'm a local Dagoba man, so I don't spend Valentine.
What does that mean?
So you did at least something small. I mean, you're a married man, so at least you probably sent out some love to your wife.
I bought a chocolate from my former office over Ghana Cocoa Board, and I got some chocolates for her to spend the Christmas and also spend the Valentine. Sorry.
Is that the best Valentine gift you've ever given?
Oh no, I've done a lot, but for security reasons I cannot say.
No, I know you've done a lot.
How did you plant a bomb somewhere on behalf of someone?
My wife herself knows I've done a lot for her. So
You have only one wife?
Yes, please.
Would you add on?
No, I will not do that. My father had one wife, so
it's too early to tell.
And anything can happen.
All right, Alhaji, so tell us about who Farouk is.
This is a very... Anyway, my name is Farouk and I was born in Tamale. I was born to the late Vice President Aliu Mahama and my mom, the former second lady, Ajara Matu. I think we lived in Tamale and I came through the schools in Tamale, and my father took me to Achimota School. I was in Achimota School, then I went to the primary and GSS, and I proceeded to Prempeh College, which President Kufuor, then before he was even a president, took me to that school. And
you lived with him at the time?
I lived with him in a year.
How old were you?
I think I was about 18 going to 20 years.
Okay.
And I was also fortunate to be in the same PJF family with Napo and Co.
Oh, okay.
And so then I went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. then Ghana Institute of Management, Public Administration, GIMPA. Then I went to London to do my master's in Coventry. Then I worked with Ghana Cocoa Board as a national service. I rose through the ranks. I worked at the port. I worked at Cocoa Marketing Company. Then I eventually became a manager of procurement at Ghana Cocoa Board.
Wow. Wow.
You mentioned living with President Kufuor.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that experience, because you became familiar with the
Exactly,
Apejafi.
How did you even come to live with
Exactly.
him?
Yeah, actually, President Kufuor and my late dad have been friends from the 90s and the 80s, but people didn't know. I quite remember when we were kids in the house, we used to receive prominent people like Dubois here. I was telling his son, Charles Dubois, that anytime Dubois used to come to Tamale, it was my dad. He was then a contractor called Lidra Limited. And Kufuor too came, and I remember we used to go for congresses and to become president, and he tried several times. And they had that relationship. And even before President Kufuor became a president, he once came to the house, and my dad told him that he wanted to change his school. Then quickly he put me in his car and took me straight to Kumasi. And I was fortunate to be handled and staying with the Pejefe family, which is a very, very prominent family in Ashanti region, and that is the father of Napo. And I lived with them, and I then proceeded to Prempeh College. And President Kufuor then paid my fees. Then when he won, I had also completed Prempeh. And so that's how come I'm now on a month for Prempeh College. All students, both Napo and the president, or our Prempeh all students.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we are all a month for and proud to be associated here.
Looks like you were born into the politics, because from your mom's side also you are the former minister of state as well.
Yeah, my mom's father was. Yes, I think my mom's father was. He was a foreign affairs minister in Nkrumah's government, and he was a trade minister, trade and industry. I think Cocoa Board through that he opened up a lot of factories in Ghana. Then he was also then the first black chairman of Ghana Cocoa Board. And they built up the magnificent building that you see today.
So it looks like Cocoa Board has been your birthright, Ghana.
Yes. And my uncle, my mom's senior brother, was also brought in by my grandfather. He also worked in CMC, became the MD of Cocoa Marketing, and also became the deputy chief executive of operations in Cocoa Board. And I also came in, and at least I have also ended. I've not got into the chief executive, but at least I ended on a very good note.
Awesome.
So I do my best for Ghana Cocoa Board, yes.
Awesome. Let's talk about life as the son of a vice president. At what age did your father become? How old were you when your father became vice president? And what do you think were some of the expectations of a son of a vice president?
My dad became vice president immediately I finished school. That was 1999, 2000. And you cannot blame me. I always like to talk about my youthfulness part. You know, growing up, your father became vice president. You have friends who want to take advantage of you. You know, that time we were in our youthful ages. We'll call more or less stubborn.
You're speaking as though you are 85 now.
Not that I'm saying that.
But he's seen life.
Exactly,
Yes, because I was young but then very exuberant, and having a father who was a vice president, and you had even gone to university, and you see policemen everywhere in the house, all of a sudden police will come and take you, saluting you, all that. It really I personally would not have run away from my youthful days. I was so excited, and you know, used it once in a while to go out with friends. Let's go here, let's go here, let's go here. You go with the police, wanting to, you know,
show some muscle.
Yeah, but I see all those things to be unnecessary now, because it's good to go through these phases to learn life. And I believe at least before my dad departed from this world, he had inculcated a lot of discipline to me. And I got to a point, my dad never made me to have all those benefits, because eventually got to a point, even he took all the cars that I was driving. I used to take taxi. He told me that you cannot enjoy today and enjoy tomorrow. And I thought he didn't like me by making these kind of disciplines that he wanted to instill in me. And I thank myself, at least I'll be 40 in April. And what I've been able to achieve at my age, I don't think my dad achieved that at this age. So at least those disciplines and straightforwardness and wanting to inculcate that kind of discipline to me, I would also impact to my children and every youth person. Because obviously when you finish university, GSS, NSS, there's that life of wanting to, I hope you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
We've gone past that now, but we're just hoping that we'll learn from whatever the past is and become responsible people going forward in whatever we do.
You know what you've achieved now. Your father did not achieve that at your age because his father was not a vice president, you know. So he has made some ways for you.
Okay.
But you were very, very popular when you were at Tech.
Yes.
What were you doing there? Because I wasn't at Tech, but I was always hearing your name. What were you doing on campus? Why were you so popular?
There was nothing really, just that there was a lot of propaganda. First of all, when I was in Tech, it was that I got admission through protocol. But in my year of, the year we completed 19, at Prempeh College, we were the best student.
What was your grade?
I think I had 09, because I had 3 A's, 5 B's.
Okay.
And it wasn't because, and the records are there for everybody to verify. But just that, you know, when you are vice president, and I think I got myself with certain friends who took advantage of the situation of me being a son of a vice president. And, you know, once in a while, you know, you are in the media, when you throw a party, they you know, you cannot blame me for that.
Not just any party.
Yeah, but I mean, when you do a party, they put you in the vice president's son. But you couldn't have blamed me for that. Obviously, we just had to go through that cycle, but now we've gone past that. And Tech was a good experience, but you know, they always say that your past can never determine your future, and I believe that we've done a lot for ourselves now, and I believe that it was an experience I always share with my...
So how did your mom take all these things? Because I know how mothers are, you know, always with complaints and stuff and names.
My mom has suffered a lot for me, and I can tell you today...
You sound like you were a very bad boy then.
Maybe
I was
stubborn.
not a bad boy, I was...
Stubborn.
No, I was a youthful...
You were caught up in the youthful exuberance, you know.
Well, if that's
So
the
you can-
jacket,
you can-
frenzy.
that's fine.
If you say, okay, once in a while, I mean, you know, as an advocate, I quite the near thing that you can say that. Say yes,
when it's
obviously. When it's I mean, you couldn't take that from me. I mean, it was part of my staying in Tamale, and you know. But I mean, everything has a cycle, and my mom is my life, and my mom has suffered a lot for me from my infancy in Achimoto school. I got to a point. My dad said it was my mom who was spoiling me and all that. But you know, we have a typical Dango mama like my father, who came from a very poor background in Yendi. Yeah. He never had shoes even to wear, and my mom's father was a minister. She had that opportunity, so she saw that kind of upbringing my mother brought to them, and they all grew up together. So there's a distinction between somebody who came up from a different family and my mom. But my mom wanted to see the best for us. But you know, as my sister Frema is saying, every mother tries, like my wife always tries to protect the children, and you can never take that. And I believe that. But my dad wanted the best for me, but I didn't see that in me. I thought that he was too hard on me, because my dad really suffered to get to where he used to walk distances in Yendi. He had footwears. He suffered. He didn't have anything. His mother was a cocoa seller. So my mom also did a lot for me, and I stood by me. Even my primaries, a day before the elections, I went to Tamale. She prayed for me. She came to Yendi to bless me. And I believe that my mother's blessing has gotten to me where I am today. Yes, having been fortunate to be named after my mother's father, Morigala, I think that spirit is all around me to make sure that I inculcate that I promote that legacy of service, which both my maternal grandfather and my paternal grandfather and my same father too. At least I'll be guided by those services they rendered to this country. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you said your father was kind of strict on you, and you thought he didn't like you.
Yes, he was. My dad,
if he were here today, what would you say to him, coming from all that level of discipline he took?
And where you are today?
I think President Kufuor, when I graduated from London, in Coventry, and he told the word that came from President Kufuor was, "I wish Aliu was alive to see you today."
Yeah.
And after when I won the primaries, everybody said, "We wish your father was around to see you today." But I remember one thing my dad told me, that after the primaries 2007, when he lost to Nana Addo Kufuor, he said that if he doesn't reach wherever he's supposed to reach, at least one of his sons would definitely be greater. And everybody gives birth to his child with the best for it to be greater. Yeah. And immediately my dad died, even he died through campaigning with Dr. Baumia in 2012. He just died through supporting the party. I felt that I had to do something to honor my father. And I know my father will be in his grave, and he'll be very, very proud of what I've been able to achieve within, and I'm still projecting the Aliu Mahama legacy. And I'm hoping that with the blessings of the Almighty Allah, we are taking it one step at a time, and we'll see what God will do for us. Yeah.
So at what point did you have a turnaround in your life? You know, everybody at some stage, I have mine, you know, my father called me at some stage in my life. I had done some nya, you know, and my dad called me, my dad gave it to me. You know, I remember I was eating banku and tilapia with my friends at Medina.
Wow.
By the time my father finished, I was at Farouk Estate behind Achimota Gogos. I don't know how I traveled from Medina to Farouk Estate.
Right.
But that thing my father spoke to me about really hits me. And from that day, I told myself that, look, I'll prove this man wrong. It gave me a certain turnaround in my life.
Yeah.
What was yours?
My turnaround came in 2005.
Right.
And I'm just going to be frank with you. My dad was very, very strict. It got to a point in time, I remember that tech I was supposed to complete, and I refused, and I went to London. And he said I should come and complete and get the certificate. And I said no. So I went to London. So by then my uncle was the London Cocoa Board manager in London. I stayed with him. And my father called him and said, if I don't come back to Ghana and finish tech and take the certificate, he will disown me. So my uncle made me to come. And when I came, I told my dad the course I was doing tech, I don't like it. I wanted to go back to Gimpa.
What course were you doing in tech?
I was doing BSc planning.
Okay.
So I decided to go back to Gimpa. And fortunately, my course mate is here, Aneta. She's
Okay.
I've been with her from year 1 to year 3. And 2000, every year we pray with my mom and my dad. And my dad was always angry with my mom because of, he thinks it's my mom who is pampering me. And actually, my mom doesn't joke with me because I was named after her father.
Okay.
And I'm the eldest, and after trying to get a boy after my sister several times, 3 times, she lost all the boys.
Oh, wow.
So I was the only fortunate boy. Then she told me, she cried and told me that she wants me to change my life. So 31st December 2005, she told me to go back to school, get my degree, and prove everybody wrong that Farouk, you can be somebody tomorrow. And that night, I changed my life from 2005 to now, and I'm very, very proud of what I've been able to achieve. And I think my mother, I owe her a lot. Whatever I do today is to the success of my mom. And I wish every mother would always stand by a child with all the, because I gave my mother a lot of troubles.
Yes, yes.
And she has done a lot for me.
Yeah.
What would we do without mothers,
Exactly.
huh?
Yeah. So at what point did you begin nurturing the idea of politics, entering into politics? I mean, you can say you were born into it because with all the history you've given us.
I looked at the politics come with a lot of disappointment. I was with my dad going around. I know I was with I remember President Kufuor, my dad, their primaries 96, 98 with Akufo-Addo. I mean, my dad following Kufuor. Then when all of a sudden they named him as president, as vice president. Because my dad was a philanthropist, and the whole North region, I'm not trying to boast, my dad was one of the biggest contractors in the northern Ghana. He was leader. And everybody, my dad took care of a lot of people, to the ministers, deputy ministers, even Dr. Mahmoud Baum, all of them. I looked at how he was sacrificing philanthropism work. And Kufuor chose him again. Then he came 2007, he was supposed to be president, and it didn't happen. And he still decided to recommend Alhaji Baumia to the National Council for them to choose him as the running mate to Nanado. And fighting for Nanado and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia to be vice president. And through that, he died on a campaign 2012. That was a month before elections. I was with him, and I know what happened. But all the sacrifice for the party, I saw that if I don't stand up and step into the shoes of my late father, his name would die off. Because I've seen a lot of people who have prominent people whose children don't come up, and you see by the time they are no more. And I took solace from the fact that Nanado too persevered and had that ambition of wanting to project this. So all those people's actions and inactions motivated me to say that no, my father cannot die and suffer for this party, and I will not be seen also projecting his legacy. As the first Muslim and a Dagomba vice president from Yendi, he needed to be in the minds of people, and by me coming up, I think one day they'll use my name or his name to remember who he was.
Talk about your name. Let's go back to Prempeh College. You want to understand that name, Alguanda.
Yes. Who told you that?
How did that come about?
Was it your name or not?
What did it mean?
It was your name, right?
Yeah, dangerous man. Where did you get this name? I'm surprised who gave you this name. Anyway, it's part of. I had a lot of nicknames in Prempeh College. Aligwanda, I don't know. And because I used to live in my grandfather's house at Asawasi, and I used to have a name too called Method Man. They used to call me Method Man.
Did you rap?
No, Method Man.
Connections.
No, his music used to be something I like. So,
okay.
so Ali Gonda is another name, but Method Man was Spanish.
Okay, right, interesting. Right, so let's come back to, the politics aspect of the whole thing. Now, when you decided to now step in your father's shoes so that his legacy is not lost, were you not worried? Were you not a bit apprehensive? This is Farouk. People know me that Menisuyeshi, all these things. And you know the way politics is in this country. People are going to hit back at you. Were you not worried about these things?
I was worried, but I was worried. But in politics, you must have a thick skin. And you must be able to, when you're focused, do whatever. I think my coming up and my ambition and what I've about to achieve tells that never write anybody off in life. You need to know that in life there's timelines for everything. Today you can be this, tomorrow you are that, if you are focused. And I believe all the youth and other people, I try to encourage that. Look at me. Farouk used to be somebody, they say A or B or C, but I was focused and I'm a go-getter. And I remember when I was going for my primaries, people were doubting me and I said I was going to win. And I won the primaries and I won the general elections with the biggest margin. And I think all the 5 regions in North region, nobody has numbers than me.
Could it be because of all the allegations that were also peddled against, vote buying? Farouk is giving money, Farouk is sharing it, Farouk is... No, I mean, you have money.
That's not how it looks.
Exactly. So
I have network. I don't have money.
So how did you fund your campaign?
Aside everything, I manage my father's businesses, and then I'm the eldest son. I've inherited a lot of my father's network across the globe.
So you talk about being the eldest. How many siblings do you have?
We have 3 boys, 1 girl, we are 4.
Okay.
Yes. And I inherited a lot of my dad's networks. I traveled with him to Nigeria. Jonathan Goodluck's children all used to be with SC in Ghana. And Nigerian governors, a lot of them, London, America. And my dad had a good name. So to raise funds for these kind of things, to say, it's not, I'm a good fundraiser and I'm a good mobilizer. And that's God has given me. And I've got that kind of friends who, when they believe in me, they come up to support me in whatever I do. So my sister Frema is the network that we are relying on. And the network is what we are using and we'll continue using it.
It's necessary. But what do you think of how we spend monies, in our politics? I'm not saying
our money spent. I don't know.
No. I'm asking you as a politician. I'm not saying you, but I want to believe that. If you follow the news, I mean, this is nothing new. We heard people talk about. Okay, so they were sharing the money. There were interviews that I conducted, on the street where people mentioned names of politicians.
But my name wasn't mentioned.
Your name was mentioned, but I just told you, and you've told me that it wasn't true.
Did you not share
no problem.
I don't have money.
No problem. But what do you think of how we put money into our campaigning? How people share money, not you, but other politicians share money. People give television sets. People are giving bags of rice. People are giving this. Is this the right way to go in our politics?
No, but obviously you cannot want to do politics and you don't want to have the network to get the needed input, that is the resources to get what is that. Because as I speak, my senior brother and mentor, Kennedy Japan, was here the other time. He came to Yendi. He spent a lot of time supporting me.
Was he dashing money to people?
It wasn't dashing money, but
what kind of support?
His presence alone in Yendi. Nobody can bring Kennedy Japan to Yendi.
No, I'm not even talking about people's presence. I'm talking about their
problems
pockets.
That were in Yendi in terms of grinding machines, women support. He gave more than 20 sewing machines, more than 20 grinding mills. If you look at Yendi, the poverty levels are high. That's even how come I established an NGO, which is the Partnership for Poverty Reduction.
So you see.
And money is necessary because, every politician obviously uses resources. But maybe people see it to be like you vote by. It is not. You are obviously... When you're going to do campaigns, you buy fuel. When you're going to meet delegates, you have to give them TNT.
You remember fear delegates issue?
Yeah, obviously I have contested elections, so you not tell me what fear delegates. I know what
delegates. How important is the timing of these donations? Because it's much of vote buying.
If you do consistent, like me, when I wanted to contest for it, from 22 I set my goal. My NGO and my father's Aliu Mahama Foundation, we've been doing a lot of work, and we've done it for 6 years. And on election, we did it to farmers, to businessmen, and help needy Barbadians. So you cannot say I was doing vote buy because we're using the NGO to salvage and help the people's livelihood.
And you have been doing this consistently over the years.
Yeah, very well. I like that
positioning.
Yes. So you cannot be vote buying.
So you projected into the future.
Of course.
And went your way into it.
And I'm a strategic person, so obviously you must position yourself. But as I'm saying, what my sister is saying is that it's important that, yes, people say politics involves resources and you must have the right network. But if you say vote buying, I have not seen any politician vote buying. I've not seen that, and I've not indulged in that. But
we have seen
resources. Maybe you have seen. I've not seen. But resources is a very, very essential to whatever we do, and it's not easy because if you look at MPs, the responsibilities on them. Like this month, the school fees I've paid. Their weddings every week. I'm in Yendi. I go for thank you tours. I go for marriages. It's not easy. If you don't have that network, you cannot.
Then why do you people go for that position in the first place?
But because we are ready to serve. I've been.
Is this serving? You are serving.
Oh yes.
Ghana politicians, are they serving in the true sense of the word serving?
We are serving you people well. You are benefiting and
leadership through service.
Yes.
Right. So is it normal, for a politician? I mean, forget about your position, whoever you are, to acquire a certain amount of properties, landed properties within. No, I'm asking a general question. Why won't make mention names?
No, I don't know. You are telling me.
No, that's what I'm asking. General question. I'm asking that. Is it normal, for instance, Farouk, forget about the fact that you are maybe the former vice president's son, because that's why I said earlier that he tried a certain course for you to make things a bit easier. But someone like me coming from Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so's daughter, and then 4 years you come into politics. We know that before you came, you probably owned one 4x4. You had one house of your own that you live in. And then after 4 years, this is Ghana issue I'm talking about. After 4 years, you own like 5 houses in prime areas in Accra. You own fleet of vehicles. I mean, your children can afford a certain school. When we know the salaries of politicians in our country, is this normal?
Anyway, what you are saying, I don't know which of the politicians.
No, I'm not saying who. I'm saying, is it normal? Can somebody achieve this?
Or is there a name you want to put out?
No, if there's a name, let's discuss.
If there's a name, why not? Go ahead.
Anyway, politics, you can be a politician. We have good friends who also want to support you as you try to find out. And I believe that most of these cases is, if you are privileged to be in a position and you obviously have people, good friends who also come and help you. So I'm not speaking for other people. I think that.
But did you not have these friends before becoming a politician?
Like right now, you are my friend. When I see you anywhere, I know that I've got good friends. If I need anything in city, it will not be difficult for me. That's how it is.
Okay, so you become attractive to your friends after you become a politician.
It's not after. You have to keep relationship first before politics. Politics will come and go, but that relationship is very, very important. And the sustainability and the consistency of that relationship is what important. Because politics has timelines.
So it's that same relationship that grows into a network.
Yeah, network is very, very important. Yeah, it's important.
I like the way you play around networking. I like that.
But now you are my friend.
So I'm joining the network.
No, we are we are building a network here. Yeah.
All right.
So you mentioned earlier, that you were with your father, campaigning and all the activities that were going on ahead of the elections when he died.
Yes.
How was this for you?
It was sad because I think it was my mom's 50th birthday. We were with my mom and my dad was in a flight to meet Dr. Baumia at Sunyani. I think on his way there he became dizzy and they brought him back. And that's how come it all started. So he was taking Dr. Baumia around. They went to North Region, they went to Upper East, they went to Sunyani. So I think they were joining Dr. Baumia again to go for another trip. And I think it was through the campaigning and all that. And I think it has been a very, very sad situation. But my dad has been somebody who has always sacrificed for the party. He carried himself with the discipline that he brought into the society. If you look at the Cocoa Roots in Cocoa Board, he initiated it. And a lot of things he did in time, even before he became president or vice president, had done a lot. So, but it was just sad, but at least commitment to your party is very, very important. And we've never regretted, at least Dr. Baumia has also been very, very useful to the family and mentored some of us. And I think that it's a good, there's no regrets. Both him and the president have also helped me in my upbringing, President Nanado. And a lot of them have not seen my father's departure as a vacuum, but at least we have a father and the President Nado and President Kufuor and Dr. Baum and a lot of people in Northern region who have also supported me and good friends around, and I think we are all right. Yeah.
Well, obviously, the death of a father will affect every individual. But personally, how did it impact you? Did it change anything? Did it change your perspective about
just sad
anything?
I started proving him wrong when I got my first appointment at Ghana Cocoa Board as a shipping officer.
This was on your own without his influence in any way?
No. Yes, I did my national service. He didn't even know how I went for the appointment, and I brought it to him and he read. And my first salary, I took it to him when I was in Cocoa Market. You know, Cocoa Board is the mother, the subsidiary is the Cocoa Market before I was transferred. So, and I took my first salary, it was 3,000 Ghana cedis. And I took it to him and he received it. That's how Muslims are supposed to. He shared it around his friend, kept the rest in his pocket. And at least he blessed my money, and I did what I could do for him as a father before he died. So I just wish he was around to see the Farouk, which he always wished for. And at least he's not there, but at least his spirit sees what I've done so far. And he should be very, very proud of what I've achieved so far. Yeah.
Is there something that you want to carry on? You know, you mentioned earlier that it was his wish that what he did not achieve, I mean, he will have a son who would go beyond that. He was a vice president, maybe wanted to be president. Do you want to do that? Is there something that, so you get where I'm coming from, a certain legacy that you want to carry far because he couldn't do that?
Yeah, I think my dad's passionate thing was about Yendi and how he could develop Yendi, because when he was vice president, he was from Yendi. He did a lot, but still the people expected more from him. But even when he was a leader, the Yendi Tamale Road, he did it. Most of the major roads in Yendi, he did it. But he couldn't achieve more, so that made me to go back to my roots in Yendi and to make sure that I transform Yendi into the new Yendi city, which has been my agenda as my first 4 years in Parliament. I'll make sure that we have good roads, which the President has approved for us to have an asphalt road. And I heard you talk about asphalting. Yendi is going to have asphalt road in all the towns and the cities.
How are you going to do that? I've been to Yendi.
Yeah, don't worry. But don't worry, from next month.
How are you going to do that? You are MP, you are not MC
but,
or
my
DC.
government is important. The President has already sanctioned that through the urban routes, and Cabinet has approved it. And we were starting, we've done, it's part of the
You're just going to take credit for a government-sponsored project?
No, don't.
You don't forget what Oponkroma said. No. You know, you should be able to lobby for your people.
Yes, exactly. How come? Yeah, before we lobbied through the Vice President. The Vice President attached Yendi, because not only Yendi that was part of the list. We did that, and the President also I went with the President to do the 30 million water project, which was a big problem in Yendi. We're going to start it. You look at electricity, we started with Peter Mewu, we have light in Yendi. With the emergence of my big brother Napo, we should be able to make sure by 2025, Yendi, all the villages have lights. Make sure the infrastructure development, we have modern university. We are taking University for Development Studies to Yendi. We are building a new airport in Yendi. And at least Yendi, Dagbon is Yendi. The capital is Yendi. So as an MP of Dagbon, I should be able to lobby through the President and the Vice President to make sure that the new Yendi city, which my father wanted to see, that Yendi becomes a place that, because having been the first Muslim Vice President from Yendi, is something that is a legacy that we must all be proud of. So I think as I'm also hoping and praying to make sure that my first 4 years, which we're going to start, we've started on a very good note, and you can do your investigation in Yendi and find out I'm doing a lot of work. I'm not just talking. I've even been given a name in Yendi, which is talk and do. Whatever I say, I do. And I think we've done a lot of work.
But what were you shaking your head when I said maybe you want to be president?
Oh, no. I mean, for now, we are praying for long life. Is one step at a time. And you must start from somewhere. You need to learn and understand what governance is about. Make sure that you learn from your seniors who are more matured. And we're hoping that, obviously, we will also come through the ranks and see where the Almighty Allah would take us to.
You give the NPP the highest margin in Yendi, I think from 28,000 in 2016 to 38,000.
No, the president had 28,000 in 2016. and I took it to 38,000.
Well, 10,000
That's the
difference.
highest ever in Yendi.
Yes, and I also took the president's vote from 27,000 to 40,000.
How did you do this?
Hard work and determination, and the 5-year strategic plan I was telling you, the consistent.
The TVs you were sharing and the rice and money you were sharing paid off.
No. I started working. My NGO is still there. I've been to a lot of conferences abroad. I think my Partnership for Poverty took me to Oxford University last year. I was there.
Yeah, you happened to speak to the students.
Yeah. Oxford Africa conference.
How did that feel? I mean,
it was Oxford is a very big school. For you to be called there and also trying to motivate students, and you're the youngest person coming there from the north. It was a great honor, and also having been to British Parliament to speak and make contacts with the Minister for Employment, and being to Harvard University also to do some courses in Harvard and Cambridge University.
You're a big man.
He's a big man. No, the president there, you go talk.
I'm not a big man. It's just determination. So I know the need assessment of Yendi, and I've done that consistently for them. If you look at farming, I have an agriculture input support. We give fertilizers and volunteer boots and anti-snakes. And we also come to educational sector, Aliu Mahama Foundation, we give scholarship. So I did this 4 years to 5 years, even before the elections. So I started working. I didn't want to let the people want to see me be voted before I work. I wanted to let them see me work before I'm voted.
You prepared the grounds ahead of time.
Yes.
So they were just waiting to see your face on the poster. That's it.
Yes, and that's what has given Nado and the highest number of votes difference in Norwich, because 16,000 votes is not a little. It's 63% percentage votes for the president, and that is very, very big. Yeah.
So now you run your father's business.
Yes.
You run your own business.
Yes.
You are a member of parliament.
Yes.
You are a husband.
Yes.
A father.
Yeah.
Isn't this too much of a
And still a son.
responsibility?
It's not. But you see, all these things tells us that we should be humble in whatever we do. We Muslims, we see people die left and right. As young people, let's not be carried away with whatever or whoever you are coming from, but be humble, associate with people more, help people more. I've inherited my father's attitude, and I'm a giver and I'm a philanthropist. Whatever I have, I can give and just be there since my infancy. So I believe in all of us. As Santifo say, we pull each other as we move. Life, you shouldn't see yourself that I'm bigger than this. You must always be simple, move with people. And me, my attitude, everybody knows. I'm a feeling brother. I understand what it takes. And I always want to share the little I have. And I think the more you share, my wife always say, I spend a lot of money. And I said, no. I'm spending the money to leave a name, so that if I'm not there, my children will benefit. It's the same way my dad was doing. So as young guys, we must collaborate to be each other's keeper and use the network that I've also established from you two today. At least you can also help me do something better, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So we're going to go for a short break. Now, when we come back, there are certain things that I have heard. You know, I'm always moving around.
Rumor has it.
Ears open, eyes open. I want to know. So in the meantime, drink Good Day Energy drink. You will need it for the subsequent questions that are coming. So this is the Upside Down Show. We'll be right back.
You're welcome back. This is the Upside Down Show, brought to you by Vodafone. We're having a very interesting conversation with a young politician, a versatile one. I mean, he's very open and he's giving us more filler as the show continues. We're speaking to the Member of Parliament for Yendi, Farouk Aliu Mahama, aka Aligondu, aka Fam.
Talk and do.
Yeah. So now you are a politician. I mean, previously the family knows you to go to work, come back home at least by 5 or 6 p.m. Now you are a politician. You're going to go into political meetings that will run deep into the night, even for a day till the next morning, like we saw on the day of your swearing in Parliament. How has the family received this?
I think my mom always advises my wife about how my dad used to, so my wife understands it very well, and she's not a difficult person. She's just at times women, once in a while, when you tell them you are going for orientation here, orientation day, they think that you are, as your ministry has to come to terms.
They think that what? They think that what?
They think that you are going to do otherwise.
What otherwise means?
You are stubborn, so still.
No, it's not about otherwise. I'm just being real to myself.
No, we want to understand the otherwise.
I'm just saying otherwise.
What does otherwise mean?
Oh, we should fill in the blank spaces.
So she understands, and what is important is to have an understanding wife who you do your best for her, pamper her, make sure that whatever little that God has given you, you also make her benefit and the children benefit. And we are suffering because of our wives and our children, I think.
Yeah, sure.
A wife shouldn't be too much of wanting to see, because obviously they can call into me as man that we have a very, very parliament that we can be called to caucus meetings and all that. Yeah, so, and she experienced it on the 9th of the event.
6th January.
6th January.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to talk about that night, but let's talk about the children a little. How have they received all this?
Oh, my son, my firstborn was born a day my dad died. He was Maltiti Aliu Mahama.
Wow.
He's the first, and he's very intelligent and very sharp. And he goes to school. He tells his grandfather was the former vice president. He said, my dad is now MP for Yendi.
So how old is your son?
He's 5 years.
And he goes to school claiming, son of an MP, grandson of a former vice president.
No, the boy is a big man.
Yeah, he's just a sharp guy, and it runs in the family, so obviously.
Of course, he
says
has
he
a
wants to be
say.
president one day, that's what he said.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Yes.
Are you in support?
Why not? He can be. Anybody's child can be.
Okay, so
Of
from
course.
a vice president to a potential president to then a future president.
In him.
So it's like you're passing down a baton.
You know, when politicians are very modest about, oh, you see that this president thing, no, I don't want to do it. Trust me, they are nurturing their ambitions.
Really?
Oh, but in your honesty, that is the highest point of call for a politician to end up as a president.
It's 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So let's
step by step.
Yeah, step by
step.
step. Yes.
All right, let's talk about the night of your swearing in.
Yeah.
You are fresh, going into parliament for the first time. What happened that night? All the brouhaha that characterized the night of your swearing in. Were you surprised? Did you expect to see something like that?
It was a very, anxious night just to be sworn in and make sure that I represent the people and as a messenger of the people from Yendi. But what happened that day was a very, very simple situation. If you observe, I was very, very calm because I was a bit surprised with what happened. But we have taken responsibility to apologize to the people of Ghana, and it should never happen again. And whatever that happened, making it 137 or 138, tells us that we should be able to work in harmony and accept each other. That is the situation we find ourselves. It shapes the democracy and makes us to be able to see each other as not enemies but as friends.
Right.
I have good friends in the NDC, like Harun Edriso, Sam George. My sister's mates were Muntaka, and I know all of them.
Right.
And I have a very good relationship with them, and I see them, I greet them, and I respect them. So we shouldn't let politics eat into our minds by NDC MP, but build a relationship. For instance, when my mom's father was a minister, John Mahama's father was his deputy, they were all together. So my mom and President Mahama all grew up together at Ringway Estate, and Ibrahim Mahama. So I think we should lessen the tension and rather see each other as. And what has happened in Parliament is for us to look at Ghana and not look at the political colors what we represent in Parliament. Yeah.
So you've been an MP for
Less
a little
than 2
over 1 month.
Yes.
How was it like being an MP? The
It's a normal
challenges,
situation, but just that every morning your ears. It's an expenditure-driven thing. Japan said it.
What are they coming for again? Now there's 3 SHS.
Who told you that? You have gone when somebody gives birth, say his name to you after his son. There's school fees. There's that. It's a
medical
whole
bills and all
of issues. But as I said, if you are ready to serve and you have good friends who support you, you will definitely be able to perform. So,
Charlie, make good friends.
It's necessary. It's necessary. So how do you unwind? All the Nana listed all the things you have to do. You are a father. You are an MP. You are running the NGO. You have your father's businesses. All these. How do you make time for Madame? What's her name?
Aisha.
Aisha. How do you and Aisha unwind?
No, I have time for my wife. Even right now, I was there the whole day, and make time with my kids. And now Parliament even starts at 2, but most of it I'm in the constituency, and I make time with my family. I take them out. I drive around with them, and I don't want to be like my father. When we were growing, my father was hardly sitting with us. I was always busy.
Making things easier for you guys. And there's COVID now. So how are things in the constituency? How are you dealing with your constituents?
I always make sure I help them with the necessary COVID materials. Recently, my first day in school, I helped the children, made them to understand that COVID is in Tamale and origin. They don't take it serious. They take it like a joke, but it's a very, very serious situation, and we must take it seriously. And it's a real thing that kills people. I'm even lobbying a friend to go and put a COVID center that will be testing people and getting the results.
Oh wow!
So I'm working around it, and maybe we hope that it ends. But COVID is not a good situation for any of us.
Have you experienced it?
Never. Every 5 days, I go to test at my friend. My friend has the center now, which you can go and test. It's a Burma campaign.
Okay.
It helps.
It's not a nice place to be.
So now there's peace in Dagbon.
Yeah.
There's a Yana in Dagbon. Yes. And then, I mean, how did it feel? Were you there during that day?
Why not? I was part and parcel of it.
So now there's peace. So what next? Development. You talk about the new Yendi city.
Into the new Yendi city, so that the government makes sure that now that we have peace and tranquility, and the votes that we voted to signify to Nanado that Yendi and Dagbon people appreciated what he did for Ghana, for them. It's also pride and proper as a representative of the people to make sure I lobby the president and the vice to take all the needed development, infrastructure, roads, women's support, youth employment for the youth. I'm even going to set up a skills development center with my good friend Magdan. I took him last year to build a 1 million Ghana school project, and we are yet to commission it. And we are building a Magdan skills development center again in Yendi, good hospitals, and make sure that at least the direct beneficiaries of whatever we want to see a new Yendi, that will be a city that is going to well befitting of a capital of Dagbon.
But when you say new Yendi city, I mean the mind travels.
It's a new mindset.
But what exactly are we looking to see? Are we looking to wake up one day and see skyscrapers all over Yendi?
Not really skyscrapers. At least certain improved way of doing it in terms of the structure, which I told you we're going to do the asphalt of the roads. Have traffic lights that will make sure that there's proper direction of cars. Have would lighten up Yendi, the areas that we don't have, villages we don't have, like rural education, we cover, we bring university campus, lighten up the students' participation in Yendi. We'll make sure that the airport, that if there's a flight or something, it can come in, our great processing factories, bringing factories to come and investors to come and invest in Yendi, so that we boost the system and create a new image. And we are taking Yendi to the world.
Wow, beautiful. Now let's come down, come home from Yendi. Now, they say that when a mentally challenged person is cured, at least the little one that will scare children, it is there. This is the Farouk who knows what's up, Farouk who was partying and all that. And if you have somebody like the Honorable Kennedy Japan as one of your mentors, then you really know partying and what's up. Who is your favorite artist?
Locally in Tamale is Fancy Gadam.
Okay.
Gadam Nation.
No, it's understandable. And then,
and when you come to what's the name, Shatawale, it's my
So what's the link between Shatawale and Fancy Gadam? Do they have something in common?
No. Shatawale is the dancehall king.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not Stoneboy.
Even though Stoneboy is my good friend, but I love Shatawale more. Let me be frank. Stoneboy is my good friend. He's done a lot of support in my politics. Shatawale too. But I think the king of dancehall is Shatawale.
Well, I disagree anyway. But what's your favorite Shatta song?
Kakai.
Can you sing it?
No, I cannot sing it.
Just a few lines.
Did you play during your campaign? Because it will go with campaign.
It's true. I came into like Kakai, so obviously Kakai is my...
No, we play Kakai for you today. We want to remind you of the campaign period, so we'll play Kakai for you. And your favorite meal is it TZ?
Rice balls.
Oh, interesting. Why?
And I eat fufu too with the bono because that's part of Ashanti.
The Kumasi
no. I used to go to Eduasi to eat a lot of food there.
Oh, wow.
Egg boys.
Yes.
So, yes, I think that we have Kakai there. So, You've taken energy, good day, so you are energized.
Yeah.
So you can give us a few moves with Kakai. No, you move small.
I don't know how to dance.
No, you don't have to know.
No, I don't know how
want you to lighten up.
If it was a Dagomba song, I would have danced, but...
So if you play
So she will play
Fancy
you a Dagomba song?
No, I'm saying if it was
Why
like
you say,
playing the
I'm only
bongo,
you beautiful? That's there.
I'll listen and nod, but I don't know how to dance.
No, but
You can move to it.
I'm a shy person.
Farouk Aliu Mahama is a shy person.
Since when?
No,
I'm
this
a
is
shy
news.
person.
Since when?
This
Trust
is
me,
news.
I'm a shy person.
How? In what
Oh, yes.
context?
You can ask a lot of people, I'm a shy person.
Maybe in the
When you get close
otherwise
to people, you get
context.
to know them personally.
Maybe in the otherwise context.
No, I'm a shy person.
So that's your song right there in the
Yeah,
background.
that's my song.
Yeah, let's go. Huh?
Maybe she'll help me.
Let's hear you sing along.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sing along. Forever and ever, I'll be a soldier.
Forever and ever, I'll be a teacher. It's a good song.
Yeah, very good song. Your IGP.
Oh, it's an
Salute to
IGP,
you.
right?
Yes,
What are you hearing?
What
What are you hearing?
I like the song though.
Hallelujah.
You've also mentioned that you love Fancy Gadam. Which of Fancy Gadam songs do you like most?
There's a song which it is linked to God. Upon all what I went through in my primaries and the forces that were fighting me, the Almighty Allah is God, and that's now where you go. That's the meaning of everything you're doing. When the Almighty Allah is with you, you will make it, and that's what made me to like that song.
Okay, so we're going to find that song for you as well.
Now,
but you know now, a lot of people are following the arts, you know, creative arts. People are going into music. People are really opening up to these things. Apart from the developments that you are bringing to your constituency, to bring to Dagbon in general, what are you doing in terms of entertainment, in terms of creative arts?
I want to change the narrative in the. I wanted to do a show. I was going to do it in December before the elections, but this year I want to. There's a lot of youth in Yendi who need to be uplifted, so I want to bring them first to have a conference and a workshop to sharpen their skills and to get how we can market them. And I've been sponsoring a lot of some of them in Yendi, so that at least we can cite their hopes and aspirations. At times you need that kind of mentorship for somebody to motivate you. And the poverty levels are high enough, so it's always good to link that kind of them see Shatawale in Yendi or something and to bring it to light. I think in December we'll invite you to Yendi for that show. Yeah.
Sure, we'll be there to support.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're here for the good of the people.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and the good of the people is music, right?
Yeah, music is good. I mean, some say music is food for the soul.
Play on. All right. So thank you very much, Alhaji. It's been really an interesting conversation. You are growing and you are looking more like your father.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if you've not been told. You really look like that's your song playing in the background, right? Okay, so you're going to be signing out with this song, and this you will get up.
No, I don't know how to dance. So.
No, you're not saying that. You can just walk, or you can mark time. You can tap your feet. You can do anything you want to do. But thank you very much for passing through. We've had a beautiful conversation, and well done. And we wish you all the best in everything that you are doing for the people of Yendi and for Ghana. All right, and so this is where we part company. You've been watching the Upside Down Show on City TV. My name is Premier Dinami.
My name is Nanatu Kufuor. The show was brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting. Ready?
And good day.
Thanks. Of course, we had Good Day Energy Drink, and we say Good Day Energy Drink keeps you going. Many thanks for the pleasure of your viewing company. We'll see you again same time next week.